Let's bring in an action. This time we're going to use Shift. So we've already brought in the AMCs, and now we need to do all the rest of the importing for Shift. So we'll select some curves and go into Loop. Now we hit the space bar and Alt F to find our agent. Now this is the bit we want right here, where he does the little shift. Let's zoom in with right drag on the scroll bar, and we can set our loop start about there somewhere. Let's try playing it. There's the shift. Wait till he gets to a stand about there. That'll do for our loop end. Okay, we like that. Left plenty of room on the start and the end for our transitions, and even if we wanted to start in from there a little bit later on, we can adjust that later on, so we want to leave plenty of room. Okay, now we're not going to crossfade loop this one because it's just going to happen once every now and then. It's not going to be run continuously like a walk or a run. It's not that kind of looped cycle. And so that means that apart from not crossfade looping, we also want to set these buttons here. For a normal cycle such as a walk or a run, you would have one set defaults and no retrigger on. Without no retrigger, an action could be triggered several times while it's running, which would sort of mess up the timing. It would mean that you'd end up with an uneven gait if, for instance, a walk was being triggered multiple times. So to let the action just run its own course, you have no retrigger on. Now this one, we don't want that to be the case because we want to be able to retrigger it at any time. So we switch off no retrigger and we switch on one shot. It's very important for an action like this that just happens once every now and then. So we want one shot on and no retrigger off. Okay, let's hit apply. And now we need to make agent curves. Well, this is a static action. If we go Shift Alt A, we can now see the agent curves that are generated, and they're sort of shifting around a little bit as they would do if we had locomotion selected. Now this is not a locomotion action, this is a static action, so we need to tell it that. It's very important because if we didn't have it set to static, then the agent space here would be moving around a little, and that would cause us to have bad IK hold behavior. It would do nasty things with the feet basically. So it's important that when he's basically standing still, that the agent space doesn't move around. So that's what static gives us. Hit apply. And now we just need to make the IK curves. Okay, select none. We can actually select curves from the view window by shift clicking on a segment. So here we have the curves for the right foot, and if I go shift middle click on the other foot, we'll also have the curves for the other foot selected. There we go. Now to the IK tab, we can create RC curves. Then we go back to our curve selection, and now we shift click on the toes, the left toes, and then we shift middle click on the right toes, and now we've got those selected, and we can make IK curves for those. Now if we go Alt I, we can see the IK indicators, and it also shows us where it's solving the knee and hip joints, just to make sure that we think it's solving them where it thinks it's solving them. We're getting the right joints being used for the IK. Now all we need is the hold curves, and we can just hit the hold curve button there, and then we can threshold the curves that we see there. So what we have is this brownish looking curve is the speed that the feet move at throughout the action, or one of the feet, and the green one is the height that it attains throughout the action. And by thresholding those with the left and middle mouse buttons here, left and middle drag, we can get the something like the sort of IK hold curves that we want. And it's actually a bit tricky for this action. So we'll just, oh, hang on, let's just zoom out there, we're not seeing the whole action. So we'll just get it kind of close. And then it can be adjusted in the Edit tab. Okay, well that's not bad, and we would adjust it a little to get exactly what we want. You can delete points, you can insert points and drag them around. But when that's done, then that's basically it. This action imported.